You have a house you know is going to sell for $1.5 million. Agents kind of have an idea where it should go. But what they do is they set the price at $950. It's like, huh? Here's why.
Oh, welcome to We Fix Real Estate with Chris Gustavel and Fred Glick. And we are chatting today about this rampant underpricing in the Bay Area.
Yeah, well, we've moaned about this before, where, and especially up in like El Cerrito, it's rampant because there's two companies up there, because one started doing it and then the other did it because they had to. So the idea is you have a house you know is going to sell for $1.5 million. It's, that's comps, and agents kind of have an idea where it should go, unless goofiness sets in or, everything craters. But what they do is they set the price at $950. It's like, huh? Here's why. And now there's an article in the Mercury News, which is the San Jose newspaper. And this talks about at Berkeley and at Sunnyvale examples. But the story is, it's really at least twofold. Number one, what the seller's agent says to the sellers: look, we're going to price this really low because then we're going to get a lot of people to come in and it's going to build and people are going to get all excited and emotionally, and we're going to run the price up. You're going to get more money because of this. Mm-hmm. Okay, here's the reality. 98% of the people either don't qualify, they're looky-loos, or they have agents that don't understand the pricing and they bid something stupid like $1 million on a $950 listing. It's going to go for $1.5 million, thinking they have a chance. They absolutely do not. They are wasting the buyer's time, the agent's time, and it's just really obnoxious. Second reason they do it: what the agents are looking for in open houses is new buyers. That's the first question. Do you have a buyer breaker? And if they say no, I'll be your buyer breaker. Here, sign this exclusive contract, and the seller's going to pay the it's a bunch of crap.
Google Translate.
Google Translated is so. I would love to just have listings where there are no open houses. You have to show me a fully underwritten pre-approval or proof of funds in order to even see the house. Because in the end, there's only 2 or 3 people who are really involved in the final negotiation. They get, we got 68 offers. Yeah, 65 of them are worthless. You got the 3 people who would have been $1.5 million anyway, had you not done this. And it's it's finally catching up that people are getting pissed off. It should be illegal. It's totally unethical, but the realtors seem to they ignore that. For marketing purposes and blah, blah, blah.
It seems like there's also a third reason. It's like bragging rights that all of our listings go for so much above the listing price.
I'm sorry, I totally forgot about that one. They go to the next prospective seller and say, I got $700,000 over asking price, but the seller never asks, well, was the asking price reasonable? Mm-hmm. So, if we were syndicated, that every house, that every seller was who ever thought about listing a house would listen to us, then this would end. But unfortunately, we don't have the reach, and the generic realtors, they play the game. Mm-hmm. So, another reason to hate realtors. Mm-hmm. And just as a note, we are not realtors. We are brokers. We are licensed in the states we're in to conduct business. We don't have to be a realtor. You do not have to be a realtor in order to practice real estate. It is a trade organization, just like the National Rifle Association is a trade organization. And you join it, you pay a fee. AARP, trade organization. Okay, so we don't get anything out of realtors. There's zero reason to be in it. We don't want our $1.6 billion judgments against us. I mean, there's a bunch of lawsuits still in the background, kiddies. So hang in there. So since we're talking about compliance stuff, there's another thing that I wanted to bring up and make clear to people so they understand. The word RESPA, RESPA,
RESPA.
RESPA. It's the RESPA, not a Vespa. Exactly. You can't ride RESPA. RESPA is Real Estate Settlement Procedures Act. And what it's saying is RESPA grants buyers, let's remember the word buyers, the right to select their own title company for the transaction, even if the seller or the agent prefers a particular one. All the time, you're going to say, oh, well, it's customary that the seller orders the title in this county. And there's actually a website that it's called whopaysforwhat.com for California. And you can see in the counties who pays what. So let's use Santa Clara County, where Cupertino and San Jose are, the seller pays for the escrow fee, the title fee, and the transfer tax, the county transfer tax. So normally they pick the escrow company. Northern California, I sort of don't have a problem as much as I do other places because everyone up there uses a combination of escrow title and they're all about the same fee. And, if it's a legitimate company, it's fine. The problem happens in Southern California. So this Buddha, which I'll explain later, was involved, and it's settling hopefully tomorrow over 3 million. Let's just put it that way. We put our offer in, we put for Fidelity National, who we like to use in Northern California, which is combined escrow title. But we got countered with their escrow company that this Compass agent wants to use. And so we went back and forth. So fine, we did it. We don't want to rock the boat. We wanted to get under contract. That's what we're so worried about. Ends up, we got an estimate of what the fee would be from our Fidelity National. And the escrow fee was $1,750. Okay. It's kind of the number. This title company, this escrow company, not title, escrow, because it's separate, title and escrow. The escrow company wanted to charge $9,000.
For what?
And not even, exactly, and not even do as much work, because the way they do it is, we go, X dollars per thousand. So they do it based on the sale price. And I said, what's the difference between a $3 million house and a $100,000 house that you'll do? And the answer is absolutely nothing, but they, so my buyers and I both berated them and got them to give us like a $3,800, $3,900 discount. We're still paying too much.
But they've just done the $1,700 one?
No, because we're already under contract, and it says specifically in the contract that we have to use these people. So I've actually done it where in the middle of the transaction, we've switched escrow companies, because the other thing is, don't just sign their contract. They're going to send you a contract, their escrow contract. Read it, throw it to ChatGPT and ask it, what's bad for me? And they'll show you. They've waived everything. You can't sue them for anything. They could 100% screw up and there's not a thing you can do about it. But they're also licensed under the insurance commissioner. So, like today I saw that a title company was giving out free drone photos for agents who use them. And, they got caught. That's why I'm bringing up RESPA. You can't do anything. No, real estate agents. No, I can't pay you any referral fee if you send me someone to do a mortgage. It is 1,000,000,000% illegal. So just stop it. Stop it. Stay in your own lane or get a mortgage license. So this stuff is rampant, and I'm putting it out there for the consumers. Just be aware of this stuff. Anytime a company owns their own service company, be it mortgage, title, escrow, insurance brokerage, anything, get 3 other estimates before. Do not agree to use their in-house people. We do mortgages too, along with real estate, but we disclose that. We disclose what our fees are, and our rates are significantly lower than most people because we charge a flat fee over wholesale, whereas everybody else charges a percentage over wholesale. So you get an $8,000 mortgage, we're going to be better, even if they're getting better pricing on wholesale. So I don't want to take up the time to talk about that, but that could last for hours.
I think a lot of people might be scared to negotiate like that escrow contract, thinking that it's just going to cost them the house over some legalese.
We know about you. You're a disruptor or something like that. It's kind of, the deal didn't go through that we're working on. But the fact was, we wanted to use our own escrow company, and these guys probably, I can't prove this, probably getting some kind of incentive. If the escrow company's got Dodger tickets, they don't keep records of who they gave them to. So I'm sure it's that kind of game. But, unfortunately, I don't have the CFPB behind me, but I do have the state of California, Attorney General, banking departments, and Department of Real Estate. So
it all ties into like arming yourself when you go to market. And we were talking earlier about pre-show. You showed me this really cool buyer strategy sheet that you can use AI to kind of craft your game plan.
Yeah. So I was playing around with this. It's the first time I used it. I threw in literally everything that I knew about a property, the Redfin listing, the disclosures, the inspections, the Zillow listing, because Zillow does something very cool now. It kind of gives you most of the time I've seen it, sometimes it doesn't, an offer strategy. It tells you this is a 99% seller's market. You're going to need to go like 12% over. Or it's like, this is a buyer's market. You can go 50,000 under. Kind of just gives you a ballpark idea. So I threw all that in, started my prompt, restarted the prompt over and over again. And it gave me a buyer strategy sheet for this house up in Washington, as a matter of fact.
Awful?
101st. Yeah. The 101st Avenue that we lost.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So
what did it say that we should have offered for that? Did it tell you?
1265, which is 3.3% above list.
I think that's too
and
low.
We're doing a cash offer. We're waiving inspections, waiving appraisal, 7 to 10 days to close. Nice and clean. Yeah, it was a little low. It went for more because I think we even offered more.
Yeah, we did. It went still close to 1.4, if not in the 1.4s.
Yeah. So is this thing any good?
I wonder, did Zillow have a price for that house, an estimate for that one? Do you remember?
Yeah, but I don't remember. But those algorithms are
I can't really trust them.
That's part of the problem with those algorithms, especially for the houses that are listed lower, like we talked about at the beginning of the podcast, because it skews the algorithm. Say, oh, well, they only need this. It must be ugly on the inside or something. Zillow doesn't know without going to your house, or Redfin links. Kind of the same thing. So you just have to be really careful. And that's another reason to use an agent, because they have more of a feel for the market. You can come in and make offers, but do you really know what's going on? You can see the comps. And there's no like special comps that we use. But there's things other than the comps. It could be a 3-month-old comp, and now the traffic, because it's nicer out, is bigger. You're going to have more buyers. There's still less inventory. You just don't know. There's so many factors involved. And here's the other thing. I think Renee's mentioned this. We've had houses where, one sells, I don't know, make up a number, for $2 million, a nice house in great shape. And the crappy one next door sells for 2.2 because it's the neighbor who wants their parents to live there and they're going to pay extra. So you just don't know the situation. You don't know the other buyers. That's the one thing we have no idea about, who the other buyers are. If we lost a house around the corner the week before, that's pretty much the same, and there were 28 offers, we know there's 27 losers. So we know it's going to be competitive again, but that's kind of the only way to tell. But try it in ChatGPT, have some fun.
This prompt's great. And Fred, can you share that prompt with us, and we can put it in the
yes, I can. I'll have to dig it out of my ChatGPT thing.
dig it out. We'll put some polish onto it and show people where to put the links, and
there you go.
Create your own buyer strategy or work with Arrivva to create a custom one.
Yeah, we'll do it. I mean, we throw everything into AI just because we don't 100% depend on it. But it's good to see, like, I threw a package in today for a house in San Francisco. They look really nice. And it ended up there with about 20 grand worth of stuff, but it was a $4 million property. So it's like you're waiving inspections because they're already done. You're not asking for any credits, and it's going to go for above list. So
yeah.
That market. I mean, if we were in Florida for a condo, it's like they're giving them away.
Just like with everything in AI, it helps further the conversation along. And it also helps give you a laser focused into one possible answer that allows you then to create your own custom answer. So it's super useful.
Yeah. But don't 100% depend on it. It's just nice other information.
And you brought up a unique point on the prompt. You're like, I had it search Redfin, I had it search Zillow, I had it search roller.com. And it's in evaluating these nuances. Maybe you could give us like a deep dive into, is someone researching all these platforms, how they're different, which one you prefer? Like, why Redfin versus realtor.com?
What I've been looking at, we had a client who is, let me read this verbatim. We're seeing more results than Redfin on realtor.com, and we like that they don't delete the photos after the property sells. So what that means is, okay, here's a bit of information. If you're selling your house, or you're the buyer, really is what it is, ask the listing agent before closing to remove the pictures off the MLS. If they don't do it or forget to do it after it closes, you can contact Redfin and you can contact Zillow and ask them to remove it. I don't know if you can do that with realtor.com. You may, I've never looked into it, but it's an interesting thing that he pointed out. They're taking a look at the inside without having to go there. Yeah, maybe a few years old, but it kind of, if they haven't, that doesn't say, brand new renovated house, you'll be able to see it. So realtor.com may be the place to go to just to see the pictures. Mm-hmm. All the data is exactly the same from the MLS feed. It's the little nuance extras that Redfin and Zillow do. Like I was talking in Zillow, they do that pricing strategy. Redfin is going to give you, they kind of hide it now, but what's going on in the neighborhood, and is it more seller or buyer who's going to benefit from this house in that market? So there's a little thing. So stick to all is really the move, but stick to one that you're comfortable with and get alerts. You don't need to get alerts from all three because they're all going to be the same. Zillow may have a few new construction. Zillow may also, depending on your market, have a for sale by owner listed. So that was the thing with that guy in Boulder who listed his house and then bitched to Zillow and they changed it. But, just keep the searches going that way. And just stick to one to tell you what's going on and the rest for more research.
That's interesting. Out of practice, do you routinely just have the people remove the images at the end of escrow?
We automatically send an email to the listing agent 48 hours ahead of closing, asking them to have them removed for our buyers. It's part of our automation.
It seems like I can't think of a good reason why you'd want it to remain up, other than historically going, look at how much we've changed our house.
A lot of them keep them up. I was just looking at my house actually, and it still has the pictures up.
But it's the old furniture. It's not your furniture.
No.
So the info they get are the kitchen, the bathrooms, and the washer and dryer. I mean, it's not a big deal, but
depending on security, if you're trying to case out a house.
Yes.
Yeah. They got a nice dishwasher. I'm
Yes.
going
I'm
in
gonna go
there.
get that.
You have the right to the privacy. Let's just
Yeah.
leave it at that.
So, Chris, how's the Great Northwest?
I think it seems to be picking up here, don't you think, Fred?
Oh yeah, it's getting busy, crazy. There's no inventory. That's the thing, especially in the desirable areas. But the head are back a little bit, so the condos have come back a little bit downtown. The rental market's still good there.
Yeah.
So, and the weather's
No tornadoes.
no more tornadoes. That was last week.
You guys had tornadoes last week?
Well, they said we might, and nothing to happen at all. So it's typical Seattle. They claim something major is going to happen, and it never does.
Are the daffodils in bloom yet?
They're just starting.
Yeah, that's going to be beautiful.
Yeah.
So what's the lack of inventories? You think people are in a wait and see mode?
In my neighborhood, I've been noticing stuff popping up more. So I don't know. I mean, this is the perfect time to sell something in Seattle in the spring. So
yeah, April, May, June, definitely the peak. We have a listing coming up in Burien. I'll never get that right. It's a small house. It's a 2-bedroom. It's cute. We're going to get it cuter when people get everything out of it. Yeah, I love to go from, looking at their house full of stuff. I mean, they're just moving to a much larger house, but more spread out. But, seeing all the junk lying around, whatever. And then after it's prettied up, it's just nice to see it prettied up. Yeah. Clean, painted, blah, blah, blah. And we also do all the inspections up front. So we'll correct things, see what happens, and then we'll talk about it when it's listed on the podcast. We have a bunch of listings coming up. Townhouse in San Jose, a condo in San Jose, a condo townhouse, and I should call them condo flat or townhouse condo, because just so everybody understands, a condo is not it just doesn't mean it's an apartment. There could be a single family condo. Condo is the way you own the property. Single family, townhome, flat, those are the type of properties. But everybody confuses it. Oh, is it a single family, a condo, or a townhouse? Well, there's townhouses that are condos.
Okay.
So it's stupid how the real estate industries have buried themselves into this, and it goes into the minds of people. But look at the physical structure, then look how the ownership is.
Now, how would the single family condo ownership be? It's owned by a third party, or?
No, it's a condominium, which means you are allowed to live in that particular property, but you're a member of a condominium association and you have a percentage interest in the entire development.
So you might have you're 100% interested.
It doesn't matter if it's an apartment or a house. It doesn't matter. It's owned the same way. It's ministered the same way. So sometimes townships or cities or counties tell you if you want to build this single family development, it's got to be a condominium. Because you got to collect your own trash, you got to do your own water or whatever. Maybe, anytime you see a development that has a living unit above or below another living unit, it's automatically a condominium, because that's the only way you can own that property is as a condo. Yeah, you can do a co-op, but forget co-ops right now. Realistically, it's a condo. But you see a bunch of townhouses, they could be, okay, let's look at a row house in South Philadelphia, the Rocky movie. Hey, how you doing? All these row houses, they're individually fee simple owned houses. There's no association. There's no CC&Rs. There's nothing. They were built in 1950. Somebody knew from that. Come out to California and stuff's built in the 70s and the 80s. The cities wanted you to have an association and collect your own trash and all that kind of stuff. So
I'm familiar with that in San Francisco, especially in the Sunset District, where a lot of those houses share common walls, but they're all
fee simple. Exactly.
It's got to get good friends with your neighbors if you have to replace a common wall.
A fence. Yeah, or a fence. That happens. But anyway,
what was it?
what were we even talking about? Did we get off? topic.
Well, we were talking about the preferred platforms and how
Oh,
to
yeah.
you should research all three of them, and then the security concerns of leaving your inside shots
Stuff in your house. There you go. And we got on to property ownership variations. So just do your homework, kids.
Do your homework and
Eat your beans. Yeah. Eat your
Yeah.
grains.
any other big topics of conversation?
No, it's
on the tornado back.
nobody on the West Coast seems to know what broccoli rob is.
I know what broccoli rob
I know what
is.
broccoli rob is. We just
I've
can't
never
find
made
it.
it. You can't eat it. Hard to find though.
Yeah. Can't find it in any stores.
I
Isn't
see it
it
in restaurants a
broccolini?
lot, but not in the store.
It's rapini is another name for it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Oh, I love that. Well,
random whatever.
and any favorite watermelon water as we're wrapping up this show?
Nope. Same old, and they still haven't sent me any.
See, Renee's off the show today, so we can talk about food and Fred's latest drinks without him getting mortified.
I don't know why he gets mortified by watermelon juice, but it's got a lot of abilities to hydrate you. And it's natural sugary. There's no sugar added. That's the first thing you should look at on any label. Sugar added. It'll freak you out.
Mhm.
Just see it and then get rid of it. Just don't buy it.
Well, this has been another episode of We Fixed Real Estate and Food Talk.